Hi, this is Brendan from Watto Training, and in this tutorial we take a look at the hill start manoeuvre for New South Wales C-Class applicants. On the driving test, the learner will be asked to do a number of manoeuvres that will be selected from the following: a curbside stop, a hill start, a three-point turn, and parking exercises including the reverse parallel, 90-degree or 45-degree, front or rear to curb depending on local availability. The curbside stop and hill start manoeuvres may be combined in the driving test. During the manoeuvres, you'll be assessed on your ability to position your vehicle legally, safely, and accurately. Driver setup. Before performing a manoeuvre, the driver must correctly set up in the driver's seat. This includes the steering wheel seatbelt, ability to aim high on the steering and see all instruments and gauges. Arms and legs should be bent. Make sure the student's mirrors are correctly set up before driving and conducting manoeuvres. Observation and scanning techniques. Observation is an essential skill for safely and correctly performing manoeuvres. Before commencing the manoeuvre, conduct a 6-point check. All clear? If so, proceed with the manoeuvre. During manoeuvres, you must check for other vehicles, pedestrians, and possible hazards. You must turn your head and check your blind spot before you move to the curb to commence the manoeuvre. Leave the curb to rejoin the traffic. Be aware of your blind spots. Head check before proceeding. Parking position. In relation to any parking relating to the manoeuvres, you must park close and as near as practical to the curb. The test requires you to be parallel and closer than 500 mm to the curb. The wheels must not touch the curb. In relation to any parking, stay at least 1 metre away from other vehicles. The test requires you to be no more than 2 metres from other vehicles when you park. Curbside stop / hill start. The learner is required to. The testing officer will ask you to pull up into the curb for a curbside stop. This may also be the hill start. In relation to any parking relating to manoeuvres, you must park in a safe and legal location, as close and as near as practical to the curb. The test requires you to be parallel and closer than 500 mm to the curb. The wheels must not touch the curb. You'll be asked to restart your vehicle and drive off. Make sure you indicate for at least 5 seconds. Demonstrate appropriate observation and scanning techniques. Check mirrors and over your right shoulder before you move your vehicle. Move off smoothly from a stationary position and travel up a moderate incline without rolling back. Start on gentle slopes in quiet areas when in the learning phase. Here's a flow chart for the automatic vehicle, and I'll just walk you through that. Starting with park brake on, gear in park at curbside. 360 scan, all clear, yes, foot on brake, select drive. If clear, signal right for 5 seconds, right foot to accelerator, keep scanning, increase engine rev slightly, shoulder check, if clear, release park brake gradually, accelerate smoothly, scan ahead, cancel signal, mirror check, power up the hill and look ahead. Here's a flow chart for the hill start procedure for a manual vehicle. Apply the park brake and keep the scanning going. Select first gear, signal right. Check mirrors, clutch to friction point, keep scanning, increase engine revs from 1500 to 2000 RPMs, vehicle dependent. Release the clutch further, slowly, extra engine revs, check mirrors, shoulder check, release the park brake, release the clutch, increase power up the hill. Here's a little diagrammatic flow chart of that procedure. Let's have a closer look at the foot and hand controls. Here we can see that first gear is selected. The hand is in the correct position to go across and forward for first gear. The driver is expected to control the clutch in a manner that produces a smooth take-up of power to the driving wheels and assists in gear changing. Here we can also see the driver finding the friction point. Some people call it the bite point. The driver should slowly release the clutch in a manual, listening to the engine. When you hear the sound of the engine start to fade, continue applying more and more accelerator. It's harder to hear the engine of a modern vehicle, so I wouldn't rely on that as your only measure for a modern car. Some students benefit from watching the tacho to assist smooth takeoffs. I've used that with hearing impaired people. It relies on the vehicle having a tacho as well. Most manuals do. Push the button in on the handbrake, lift it up slightly, keep building up the power on the accelerator, ease out the clutch, and keep scanning. Moving off. Now you're able to start driving up the hill, again without rolling backwards. Make sure to release the clutch until it is fully engaged, but be ready to change from first to second gear. What if I stall? Secure the vehicle, clutch in, restart first gear, and try again. Fail items for C-Class driving test: disobeying traffic signs, signals and road markings, failing to give way when necessary, colliding with a vehicle, pedestrian or object, performing an illegal act or maneuver, exceeding the speed limit, action requiring testing officer intervention, causing a dangerous situation, failing to maintain proper control of the vehicle, failing to exercise due care to avoid an accident, failing to give way to an emergency vehicle, disobeying directions from a person controlling traffic, frequently not signaling intention, refusing to attempt any part of the test, repeated or deliberate failure to follow directions, unreasonably obstructing other vehicles or pedestrians, receiving external advice or instruction during the test, not parking to the required standard, failing to maintain a safe following distance, frequently not performing observation checks. Thanks for watching. This has been Brendan from Watto Training.